It All Starts With You is a show where we're going on a journey of self-discovery and exploration. This platform is a place for women who are transitioning and transforming. Hi, I'm Eileen Lemelman, licensed clinical social worker and psychotherapist. We are embarking on a trip together where I will be interviewing experts and extraordinary women such as you and me. Let's start the show. Hello, 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 my ladies, my dolls, my friends. Welcome to It All Starts With You. And I'm Eileen Lemelman, your host. And today, I am back in the studio. I bet you didn't even know I was gone. With the magic of technology, I was able to tape a couple of shows while I was away these past few weeks, but now I am back live and in person, and I'm so excited to be here. Where was I? Well, I was on a trip. I was on a vacation with my family. We rented a big Airbnb in Texas. Yes, it was hot. It was very hot, but it was fabulous. And it was gathering time, it was together time, and it was fun. The best part of the day was in the afternoon when we would go in the pool and swim. We had to because it was so hot. So, I really noticed something. I noticed something about myself. I enjoyed, I engaged, I connected, and I wore a bathing suit each and every day. I didn't want to miss one moment, one memory, one connection with my grandchildren. That was the most important thing. And I think back to when I was a younger woman and, how I missed so many things because I was so ashamed of my body. I had such body dysmorphia because when I look back at the pictures, I was not heavy, but I always felt embarrassed or I felt fat, that feeling fat. And I know I wasn't giving the best message to my children, but I really, really struggled with weight my whole life. And so I missed so many memories. I missed so many occasions because I had nothing to wear, I thought, or I didn't want to get into a bathing suit. But you know what happened to me? I did a lot of work on myself. And now what I do is I don't focus on food, weight, and body image. I don't focus on calories. I don't focus on deprivation. What I focus on is how to nourish myself in a healthy way. And that means nourishing myself, mind, body, and spirit, right? And so the food that we choose is actually part of that mind, body, and spirit connection. So today I thought I would show you a little demonstration about how to take care of your body, how to be good to your body while eating yummy, yummy food. And today we're going to make guacamole. Okay, so today, and guacamole is made with avocado. And avocado is a very good fat. And for us menopausal and postmenopausal women, we have to really be mindful about omega-3 fats because we want to get healthy fat into our diet. We don't want to eat processed foods and unhealthy saturated oils. We want to eat plant-based, unsaturated fat, heart-healthy, omega-3 fats, and avocado is the best way to do it. So let's start with how to make this, and it's so easy. And you can use this avocado dip called guacamole, for those of you who don't know. You can use it in a variety of ways, right? You can use it either as is with a dip, with carrots or with heart-healthy tortilla chips, because tortilla chips are just made with corn and heart-healthy oil. Or you could put it on toast and then grate an egg on, hard-boiled egg on top, or you can use it with chicken or fish. It's so versatile and it's so easy to make. So you start off with 4 avocados. I've mashed a few. Let me tell you, the last one, it's 4 avocados, but I saved one to show you how to do it how to cut an avocado in a very, very safe way. You make a slit around the whole avocado lengthwise, and then you make a slit around the circle of the pit, because everybody always has problems with the pit, and then it comes out so easily. Look at that. And so we are going to just take out the pit. Look how easy that comes out once you do it. And then what you do is you just take a spoon and you scoop out the avocado. So easy, right? So easy to scoop it out. I just love the feeling of avocado. It's like silky and smooth, and the mouthfeel is so yummy. And then you just mash it. And if it's hard to mash, just take a fork and just do it against the bowl. Like that. Now we have, and I kind of like it a little chunky, so it doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. I made 3 of them kind of smooth, and the 4th one I'm just going to leave a little chunky, because I love chunky things. I like to have that kind of chunky mouthfeel. And then it's just a matter of adding very easy ingredients. 2 diced thin Roma tomatoes or plum tomatoes. You add that. You add 3 finely diced garlic cloves. You add 1 jalapeno finely diced. Everything has to be really finely diced, because that's how guacamole is. And a quarter cup of finely diced onion. I use red onion because it's sweeter. And then you add the juice of 1 whole lime. And you just mix it up. And here we're making a heart-healthy, immune-boosting, very, very nutritious and nourishing dip that really satisfies that need for eating something kind of fatty and filling and yummy and tasty. Add a little bit of salt. I use pink salt because Himalayan pink salt is much healthier for you. Not a lot, just a little bit. I don't use a lot of salt. And also the avocado, as we go into menopause and postmenopausal, very often our triglycerides will rise. And so this heart healthy fat will really help regulate that triglyceride, kind of dysregulation in our body. And at the end, you can also add a little hot sauce if you like a little kick. I don't like spicy, so I don't add it, but many people do. And then all you do at the end is sprinkle some cilantro. Now, I love cilantro. My husband, he hates cilantro. But Bobby Flay used to say, if you don't like cilantro, try it again. It's sort of like an acquired taste. So just, and I love the taste of cilantro. It's very like Latin American, very, Mexican kind of flavor, and I love those flavors. So you just take, you take it and you put it in like a pretty dish, and then you take your carrots and you dip it in. Look at this. Look how yummy this is. Try it. It's wonderful. Yummy. So we're going to go to commercial, and when we come back, we're going to be talking with Monica Friesel, who's an expert in domestic violence and unhealthy relationships in women. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Kathy Mila is a dream resuscitator. Kathy breathes life into women leaders by showing them how to resuscitate their dreams, regain their sense of purpose, be more fulfilled in their career, and find balance in life. As a keynote speaker, author, coach, and mentor, Kathy brings a level of expertise to empower women to know their true value and believe in their own possibilities. Through intuitive, heart-centered listening, Kathy uncovers the magic just below the surface to breathe life into your dreams. Contact Kathy at kathymila.com or call 954-249-4379.
Everyone has a story to tell, and I want to hear yours. I'm Eileen Lemelman, host of It All Starts With You. Our stories are a unique way to appreciate, understand, and respect each other. Your story of transformation in life and business serves as an inspiration for us all. I'm offering you a platform to highlight your powerful message and journey. Contact me, Eileen Lemelman, host of It All Starts With You, at itallstartswithyou.live. I look forward to connecting with you.
Ruth Kraft is a concierge parenting consultant bringing calm to chaos. With more than 20 years' experience, Ruth provides guidance, practical tools, and strategies to empower parents to reach their specific goals. From pregnancy to parenting, her priority is to help reduce the stress and anxiety of parenting. Call Ruth Kraft at 561-632-8469.
Patty Shotwell, the insurance lady, is a retirement planner and an independent broker. Assisting people of all ages with health insurance and life insurance, Patty is a retirement specialist helping the senior population with Medicare, long-term care, legacy, family security, and nest egg protection. From health and medical, income and savings, final expenses and estate planning, extended care, and long-term care, Patty focuses on educating clients and on making sure that questions are answered and problems are solved. For more information, contact Patty at 954-540-7850.
Let's continue the journey. Now back to the show. Hello. So we're back with my guest. My guest is Monica Frizel. She's got her master's in psychology, and she is a postdoctoral candidate. Well, she's doing her postdoctoral training. So, not postdoctoral, I'm sorry. She's doing her training to get her doctorate. So she needs to have supervised hours, but she's already there. She's already there. And her thesis was done on women in unhealthy relationships, in abusive relationships, in domestic violence, and she is an expert in this area. She works for the Falk Center for Counseling. You know, we've had Dr. Holly Katz on here, and she is the director of what is she?
Clinical training.
Clinical training at the Falk Center for Counseling, and now we have Monica here to really educate us and inform us about what it means to be in an abusive, domestic violent relationship. So welcome, Monica.
Thank you so much for having me. This is wonderful.
I am so happy to have you. We've had some discussions, and you are so knowledgeable and so really expert in this field. And so we are lucky to have you here today to really educate us and inform us. So before we get, really into a full-blown discussion, I think it would be great to start off with defining domestic violence. What does that really mean?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's really important to define domestic violence because it typically has a very strong connotation, and it has the connotation of physical abuse. But what I'd really like us to do today is kind of zoom out and look at how it applies to unhealthy aspects of relationships. That includes emotional abuse, sexual abuse, psychological abuse, and even the threat of abuse in relationships. And really kind of looking at those more nuanced aspects of unhealthy relationships so that we can, really gain awareness around it's not just isolated to the physical abuse side of domestic violence.
You make a very good point, as even the threat of abuse.
Yes.
And very often, women are in relationships that maybe aren't typically considered, violent or even abusive from people on the outside. But what happens in the interpersonal relationship is that the woman feels very threatened if she doesn't behave a certain way or she doesn't act a certain way. So what happens in that case? How can someone identify that is really unhealthy for them?
Absolutely, and I think that really goes into the realm of the emotional or psychological abuse in unhealthy relationships, and really looking at, as nuanced as, someone doubting your reality, you saying, this is what I am experiencing, this is how I'm feeling, and they're denying that. They're making you question, is that actually how I feel? Is that actually what I think?
It's crazy making.
Yeah, crazy making, the gaslighting of one's reality, having to constantly question, constantly feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly feeling like you have to live up to unobtainable standards that this person is imposing on you. I think those are really some of the kind of more behind the scenes signs that people might not see, and they might discount and say, well, that's not domestic violence. But like you said, even just the threat of domestic violence is considered domestic violence.
Yes. Very often I have patients that come to me that are in relationships where, they'll report that they've been out to dinner and their husband will have either embarrassed them or criticized them very harshly. And so, that is also part of the spectrum that we're talking about.
Absolutely. And even to the micromanaging, you can't wear this, you can't eat that, you have to be back at this time, where are you going? It really is about kind of, when we dig down into what domestic violence is about, it's about power and control and asserting. It's the behaviors and the psychological tactics that are used to gain power and control over someone and trying to assert that over your partner.
Power and control, absolutely. So let's talk about, the far end of the spectrum, when somebody is actually physically, abused, when, they're hiding bruises and, they don't want to go out because they're afraid they're going to be, seen, and they don't want to share that. So let's talk about the cycle of violence that happens.
Absolutely. And this definitely applies to the more physical and kind of the severe end of the spectrum, but it really can apply to the emotional side as well. And it really starts with the tension building. So this is where the person that is, being abused is walking on eggshells. They're looking for telltale signs. They're kind of, taking the temperature of the relationship constantly. What is going to set them off? Knowing their triggers. So that's where the tension's building. And then we get to an incident or the explosion. And that's usually where the abuse, whether it be emotional or physical, occurs. And that's really kind of the apex of that cycle. And then what happens is this more sinister, the hook of the abusive cycle, which is what we call the honeymoon phase, where there's some sort of a repair attempt. It'll never happen again. Gaslighting the other person, well, you deserved it. I was putting you in your place. Really, convoluting what actually happened. And that's where the victim starts to say, well, it won't happen again. They said that it was a one-time thing. There's gifts and there's this hope for love. This hope that things will get better, and that piece of it is so, it really is the hook, and then the cycle kind of continues. Then the tension builds, and there's the explosion, and then the honeymoon phase. And so that's kind of the three main components of a domestic violence cycle.
Yeah. You know, I'm thinking about the perpetrator also. And I'm thinking about how unhealthy their ego is and how dysregulated they are, and probably came from a very abusive home. That's where they learned that kind of that kind of way of relating and expressing their anger, frustration, upset. They never were taught tools how to manage their anger or frustration or feel low self-esteem. And then the victim is also experiencing low self-esteem. So you have two people who are really, really empty together. It's so sad.
Yeah, and they're kind of feeding off their own insecurities and really trying to find, at the end of the day, our basic human need is love and belonging and acceptance. And both people are trying to find that in very unhealthy ways. And it ends up in this really unhealthy and toxic and abusive relationship cycle that's very hard to get out of a lot of times.
Well, so let's go with that whole idea. Very hard to get out of. So, I think a lot of women end up staying for a variety of reasons.
Absolutely.
Financial, the children, they're scared to leave. They don't know if they can really take care of themselves, especially if they're with somebody who's so abusive and has convinced them that they cannot live without them, that they could never live on the outside without them. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, there are so many different factors that makes it difficult to leave. There's the practical and financial factors. A lot of times, one of the key elements of a domestic violence relationship is this isolation. So they isolate you from your family, they isolate you from your resources, which makes leaving very, very not only difficult, but also very risky. And so that's one of the, practical, more tangible aspects of leaving. Then there's the emotional. And the emotional really comes down to what I was saying earlier about this basic human need for love. And it goes back to that honeymoon phase of, well, maybe it won't happen again. And people really kind of get addicted to the hope that, well, things will get better. They said that it was it just happened one time, and well, I had a part in it, and kind of that gaslighting starts to happen again. And that addiction to hope is kind of what can keep someone in there for the emotional reasons and kind of really wanting to fulfill that love, because it's like when it's good, but then when it's bad, it's really not only bad, but it's really dangerous.
Yes, the danger is so important. And we're going to talk about that at the end of the show, about how people can get the resources they need, because it is dangerous especially when they leave, if a woman were to leave. But I want to just for a moment concentrate on, a woman who has been married for many years, maybe, 25, 30, 35 years, has endured the abuse for all those years, for, like we said, for a variety of reasons, whether it was financial or children. And then she just sort of is resigned to the fact that she has no choice, that she's got to stay. What is she going to do? So let's give the senior woman who feels like she has no choices, that she's, destined to live this really unhappy life. Let's give some hope to them.
Absolutely. And I think it goes back to what today's affirmation is deserving respect. And kind of, the tricky part is that after being in that relationship for so long, it really comes down to, well, maybe I don't deserve better, or maybe there's not better. This is kind of the situation that I found myself in. And I think that's the beauty of your show, is really highlighting that no matter the age, no matter the circumstances, there is an opportunity to, make a change in your life, and an opportunity to seek more and to seek what one deserves. And that's a healthy, reciprocal, mutual love that is built on respect and built on, shared values, and really that is, mutual, and not this power differential that's found in domestic violence relationships.
So, I think one of the first steps, in my opinion, is, and you tell me if you confer.
Yeah.
One of the first steps for the woman is to really start to feel her value and her power.
Yes.
And so, I know that at the Falk Center, you turn no one away for, financial reasons.
Right.
Anybody, it can get help.
Yeah.
And so to start out with getting some psychotherapy and to get some, really help to build their self-esteem, do you think that that's one of the first steps? Or is it more about, getting to safety, of course?
I think they're mutually, the same thing, because in terms of, that isolation piece, one might not know that this is unhealthy, or one might not know that this is not how normal relationships are. And so really building that awareness around this is not healthy, and kind of breaking down some of those, the gaslighting techniques, and kind of how that changes the way we think about the world and think about ourselves, can be so powerful. And kind of zooming out into, well, what is it that I do want, and how do I get there, and really having someone to make a plan with, and having someone as an ally to empower you and to build you up, and to kind of take the blinders off.
Yes.
And
the
highlight
shame
that.
away, because I
Yes.
think there's a lot of shame
Absolutely.
that women feel
Yes.
that they were responsible
Yeah.
for the abuse, and also shame that they've stayed in such an
Absolutely.
unhealthy relationship. So we need to, find ways to empower and help women. So the Falk Center for Counseling is one way. And I know we have some other resources
absolutely.
that I think that we're going to put on the screen at the end of the show, but I want to just, tell you that we have the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is anonymous. You can call, you need help, you've been beaten, you don't know where to go, you don't know who to turn to. The National Domestic Violence Hotline, 800-799-7233. And locally, we have the Falk Center for Counseling, which is in Boca Raton. And we also have Women in Distress in Broward County, 24-hour crisis hotline, which is 954-761-1131. And so I hope this helped define it, helped get you some information, and help you to realize that you don't have to live a life of abuse, unhappiness. You can have joy. You can live a good life at any age. And so Monica has helped us to see all that.
Yes,
so we're going to end here by dipping a little bit into the guacamole.
Okay, this looks great.
Yeah, or you can have a chip with it too. Yeah, what do you think?
10 out of 10. Very good.
Good. So I hope that we informed you, we educated you. And if you have any questions, reach out to me or reach out to Monica, and we'll get you the help that you need. So ladies, we are, at the end of another fabulous show. The affirmation this week is I deserve to be treated with respect. And yes, you do deserve to be treated with respect, and you deserve love, and you deserve joy, and you deserve happiness. And so I hope this show provided you with the information to start you on that journey. And I hope it gave you a little joy too. So I'll see you next week when we'll have another great show and more information, entertainment, and education. So ladies, have a great week. And you know what I'm going to say. It all starts with you. You have been watching It All Starts With You. New and exciting opportunities are ahead of you. You are creating your own destiny. Until we meet again, my friends, it all starts with you.